Hi guys, Rick Nicholson here from the Restaurant Ninjas. Wanting to talk to you today about the single most difficult problem and challenge that any restaurant operator faces: staffing. The reality in my world was that staffing didn't have to be difficult. And the reason it doesn't have to be a problem is you have to hire right. Now, I know you're going to say to me, listen, no one's knocking down our door coming work for us. I actually heard that a couple of weeks ago, and I get that. And no one was knocking down my door either. But you can implement certain strategies, tactics, and processes that get people to want to work for you. And the ones that do come through are amazing candidates. Now, that again, there are going to be some areas in the business that are really hard to fill, like a dishwasher position, but you can find them. And then when you do find them, the next step is to retain them. But let's just talk about finding them today and making sure that you get a good quality fit for what you're looking for. There are basically 5 mistakes. The first mistake is the type of ad that you put out there on maybe a free site like Craigslist or Kijiji. Now, I can go through those sites and look at 50, 60, 70 ads easily, and they all say the same thing. Looking for a cook. Pay is commensurate based on experience. Willing to work 40 hours a week, must have a car. I mean, who cares? That is not describing the person you're looking for. You're describing the job. When you describe the person, you start talking about personality. You start talking about maybe something they like a movie or a type of song, or maybe like to dance in the shower, maybe like to sing when they get up in the morning. It's about who they are as people. So attract a certain person, describe the person that you'd really love to have working for you, and then go find them. I'm telling you, they're there. It's worked for me, and it's phenomenal. So look at your ad and make sure you have a really concise idea of who you're looking for. The second mistake that you'll find is in the planning. Planning is everything, as we know. And if you're not planning for success, no one else is. So when you're planning for your hires, you need to be on top of it 6, 8, 10 weeks before you're thinking about a hire. I know, again, people quit on the job, on the spot. But there are ways to actually have people waiting in the wings, like candidates who come out of a bullpen, like in baseball, who are ready to go within a few weeks' notice. Really important to develop a bullpen. Third mistake hiring managers make is in the interview process. Again, 5 years into the business, I was asking dumb questions like, could you please let me know what your strengths are? What about your weaknesses? Tell me more about your experience. Those aren't good questions. Those are dumb questions. Good questions basically get to the level of what you're trying to understand about this individual. Like, if your boss told you to do something that you absolutely knew was wrong, what would you do? See, now you're going to get at what they would do in a very difficult situation, because what you're looking for is, do they feel in line with the way your team or your culture works? So if you have a manager that absolutely needs to be right all of the time and you support that manager, then this employee won't work if she's going to go above the manager's head. Now, vice versa, if you have a manager that's very open to criticism, open to different ideas, and this person is not willing to share their thoughts, again, will not work. So you need to make sure you have a fit within your organization and within your current team. The fourth mistake a hiring managers make is it's so simple: checking references. Now, again, first 3 or 4 years in the business, I didn't check the references. I went on a thing called gut instinct, and I can tell you, gut instinct in hiring sucks. I was wrong 8 or 9 times out of 10. But where I learned how to actually get good references is I would look for points of commonality. The restaurant industry, as you know, is a small industry. So I would look at and see, okay, where has these people worked, and do I know anybody who works there? And if I don't, does anybody on my team know somebody who's worked there? And maybe we can find out through an informal reference what kind of person this is. I generally don't use the references on the page unless they are somebody I know. And there was only one true question I ask in the reference interview, and that is, if this person came into your doors looking for a job and you were hiring, would you hire them again? If the answer is no, then run. Do not hire this person. They're not going to work out. So those are basically the 4 steps. The 5th step is actually part of the retention program, but it's really important because you don't have to spend a lot of time in training an employee who's not going to cut it after a couple of shifts. And I look for a tell, like in poker, I'm looking for some type of a tell. Are they going to be a good employee, or are they going to not work out? So I'll set up a 2-week training program, and in that 2-week training program, every night there's homework. On the 2nd day when they come back, I will go through the homework with them, and if they haven't done their homework, then I basically close everything up and tell them that they should go home and study. And when they're ready to come back with the homework done, then we could have another conversation. That has worked unbelievably for me. In the beginning years, when I developed the training program, there were employees that would come in and they wouldn't take the job serious. They weren't taking the homework serious. So I was spending all my time and energy trying to get these people up to speed so they could work in my restaurant, and they really didn't care. Well, in one specific example, I had an employee who came in on the 2nd day without having done the homework. And I give her slack. I let it go. And this went on for 3 months. And I'm not joking. At first it was the homework, then it was not understanding the computer, then it was maybe not doing the cleaning, and it just went on and on and on until at the point of frustration, 3 months later, she quit. Now, what is that worth to me? Absolutely nothing. All the time and money invested in bringing this employee up to speed, and she was gone. Now, what I learned after about year 5 was don't waste your time on these people. They're still new. They haven't been invested in. And if they are not willing to do the work, then cut them loose. And I can tell you, the ones that came in with the work done on day 2 and on day 3 and on day 4, they were superstars. And that's where I started seeing the patterns. So have little tests in the beginning to see if this employee is going to work out or not. Make sure you have the questions to reveal attitude and how they are going to work or gel within your team. Have a plan, and make sure your ad, right at the beginning, make sure your ad fits the person you're looking for. If you want to know more about the details on how to implement these types of systems, all you have to do is send me an email at rick@therestaurantninjas.com, set up a half-hour, no-obligation call, and I can go through some of these processes in more depth. I would love to talk to you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.